Hey guys, welcome back to the True Rock Podcast. Today we have a very special guest.
Hi guys, my name is Luke Witte. I'm a former track athlete from the University of Florida and Louisiana State University. Stay tuned to hear about my faith.
Hey guys, super excited. Hope you guys enjoy.
All right, guys, so let's just hop right into it. So Luke, obviously, you're an athlete, was an athlete, very cool. What kind of got you into that? What kind of got you into the sports?
I mean, from a young age, I always liked sports. That was always like kind of my thing. So I was actually like a really scrawny kid, but my dad was actually an athlete at UF.
Okay.
So he was a decathlete when they won the national championship in '72, and so his kind of legacy was passed on to me, where he was like, "Hey, son, I want you to do track and field." So I started out doing distance and the hurdles, and you can see how that turned out for me. As I went through high school, I ended up being a completely different build than my dad, and got into throwing, and really took off my last couple of years of high school. And I was blessed with the opportunity to go to LSU to pursue my dreams, and eventually end up back home at Florida.
Yeah, and that's awesome, bro. Because obviously, I mean, at LSU, you had a pretty good time there.
Yeah.
All-American.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. So since you can throw stuff, right? Tell me exactly what you throw.
So I throw the weight and the hammer.
Okay. So for somebody that has no idea what that is, what is that?
Yeah,
Like
this is a funny question, because this is something people ask me all the time. What do you do? I throw the hammer. Okay, so what is it? A hammer at like Home Depot or Lowe's?
Yeah.
No, it's not. So a lot of people know what a shot put is. So that's the easiest way to start. So it weighs the outdoor implement, which is a hammer. It weighs the same as a shot put, and then think about like a 3-foot long like wire or rope attached to the shot put with a handle, and so that's the outdoor vent. That's the hammer. And then the indoor vent, which is what I was better at, is the weight, which is essentially a compressed hammer. So you take a 35-pound ball with like a 6-inch long rope and a handle on it, and
Okay.
that's what I throw. Yeah.
Awesome. So since we're on the topic of throwing things, I want to ask you a couple things on
All right.
how far you think you could throw. How far could you throw your phone? Like if you're just like in your technique, like in your like circle form.
In my circle form, a phone. This one would be tough, because it would actually be so light that it would be hard to like feel, because there's a feeling that comes when something weighs a certain
Right.
amount. A phone being like, it would almost feel like nothing. So I'd probably have a tough time throwing it, actually.
Really?
I mean, probably like around 150 feet. I think I'd be confident with.
150 feet
Yeah.
on the phone.
Yeah.
Word. All right. What about like this chair we're sitting in? I don't know how much it weighs, but it's probably close to 20 pounds. That'd be kind of hard to like.
You're gonna
hold,
love
right?
this. Yeah, the chair would be tough to throw. If I got a week to practice with a chair, I think I could throw it 100 feet.
A week to practice with it.
Yeah, if I got a week to practice, if I had to pick it up right now, say like 70, 80.
That's fair. All right. What about a tissue? Like you blow your nose in it.
I get a little mass in it first. 10 feet.
Bro, you're throwing a tissue 10 feet, bro?
Listen, it's allergy season. It's
Dude, you're putting some mass into it,
allergy
bro.
season is brutal on tissues. It's soaking wet.
Yeah, it's getting me
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, bro. All right, and then 2 more. This map book in my hand, if I just gave it to you, how far could you throw it?
Give you 100 feet.
100 feet?
Yeah.
All right. You pick me up. Put me in a little ball and pick me up. How far are you throwing me?
You know, Zach, I'm not going to put a weight on you, but you're probably not going very far.
No.
If I put you above my shoulder, maybe 6 feet.
Maybe 6
I just lean you forward.
No, bro, you put me in the little ball, 300 pounds, bro.
A couple feet.
But you're at least getting me somewhere.
I'll get you. Yeah, I'll get you a couple
Dude,
feet.
that's awesome. Could you imagine, bro? All right, so how far do you think you could throw a 35-pound ball? And like the elite performance is like if pretty good performance is over 70 feet.
Yeah.
So if you're saying 70 feet, you're not that guy, unless you're that guy.
Yeah.
We probably know, or he'd probably know who you are if you're throwing.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy. So I think I can get it probably like 25 feet.
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. Maybe I never thrown something that's 35 pounds.
Give you a month of practice.
A month of practice?
We'll get you out there.
Dude, you see me throwing some what's it called?
Weight.
Weight.
Yeah.
That's all it's called is a weight?
Yeah, it's just called the weight.
Word. Well, so the reason we're here, man, is talking about Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know, when did your relationship with Jesus become real to you?
So this is a fun question. So my faith originally started when I was probably, I want to say I was about 9 years old. I think is when I first had like my first like touch of Jesus.
Okay.
I was at a VBS at a local church, and at the time, I was very much like loved video games. I was kind of like an inside kid, and I remember, I mean, obviously like I love vain items. Like when you're a 9-year-old kid, you just want toys and clothes or whatever. Like there's not much going on in life.
Right.
But this Bible said that like, who wants to receive the gift of Jesus? And they brought out like this huge present. And I was like, oh, well, if I say I want to receive the gift of Jesus, is like, do I get what's inside? Like, I legit thought I got what was inside that present.
Right.
And they ended up taking me back to a room and pray with me. And that was the first time I accepted God, like, in my heart.
Okay.
But when, like, God became, like, real to me,
Yeah.
was my senior year of high school.
Okay.
So I went to IMG Academy my full senior year. And while I was there, because I didn't have my parents with me, like, it was my own personal journey with faith. And so I would take a school bus to go to church. They had Bible studies, and I had to go out of my own way to get there. Like, there was no one else saying, hey, Luke, you're coming to church today with me. Like, it was my choice.
Right.
And I think during that time I grew a lot in my faith because it was my personal choice to be different from those around me.
Yeah.
And that's when it became real. Like, it just became me. It became my identity instead of something I did.
That's awesome, bro. I think it's neat because a lot of times we go off our parents' faith or
Right.
like the random, oh my gosh, dude, I'm about to get a massive present because I follow Jesus. I think a lot of people do that. But I think there is that switch in your life where you have to make that decision that, this is my faith, this is for me to work through. And so I had to ask you, bro, what is, with that being your faith and how you talk about going to IMG, and then you just specifically said, like, the people around me, I had to be different than.
Right.
What is a time that God allowed you to love with somebody and show them the love of Jesus? If that's competing or if that's, in your life or maybe at IMG or wherever that was, what's a time?
I have plenty of stories about loving on people with Jesus. But in that same time at IMG, I met one of my current best friends today. His name is Andreas, and he was from Mexico, and like obviously with the times people don't, especially like, let's be honest, like a lot of people are skeptical of different races and stuff. Like you normally want to stick to your own race, whether you're white, black, Mexican, Asian, but like, we roomed together and we became brothers. Like,
Word.
He calls me his white brother, he's my Mexican brother, and like we love each other, and like that was a foundation of like love pushed back what would be like a social norm. And like he wanted to experience Thanksgiving, so he came to my house. We had Thanksgiving together, and he got to have like a true like American Thanksgiving.
Right.
But there've been times like at church we had a girl whose car broke down, and because my faith became real to me and part of my identity, like I'm mechanically inclined, so I said I worked with my small group leader, and he said, hey, do you think you can fix this car? And I said, yeah, if we get the part, I'll spend tomorrow morning out here and we'll get her car running so she can get home. And so spent all morning out there, and it was cool because at the time they were actually doing like a kids camp there, and all the kids get to see me working on their car, and they're like, wow, that guy's so cool. Meanwhile, I'm just spreading the love of Jesus with someone and serving somebody.
Yeah, I think it's neat, bro, because when you hear like spreading the love of Jesus, you think of these outlandish, super like crazy things.
I gave $2 million to this church.
And it's like, bro, just to be able to see somebody have a need and meet a need,
right,
is so big because it does show the love of Jesus. It shows, hey, like you matter to somebody. And I mean, I don't know that girl. I don't even know if you know the girl anymore. But even if you do, like to that girl, it could have been, oh, this nice guy fixed my car. But to those kids, it's like, wow, I wonder what's different about it.
Yeah.
Why is he just randomly out here fixing somebody's car?
I feel like, so service is part of Christianity.
Of course.
And I think a lot of people, understate what service can be.
Yeah.
Like some people think service is that's just when I go to Goodwill and drop off clothes. Yeah, I mean technically that's a form of service, but like service can be using the gifts God gave you.
Yeah.
Like for you, you're a people person. You started a podcast so people can see, the love of Christ.
Right.
So for a lot of athletes, for that matter, like God gave them the ability to do what they do at an extreme level, and in an interview afterwards, they can proclaim their faith, and people can be like, "Wow, I want to be like that guy."
Yeah.
And it's not just athletically, but it's for their character.
Yeah, of course, bro. And I think what's neat and how you just went back to it, like when you make your faith real to you, acts come about because your heart shifts to be like the heart of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And so doing that, or even athletes on an interview, or you've been here on the podcast, you have the ability now to share your faith to people that may never know who Luke is, or who know who Luke is but don't know who Jesus is.
Yep.
And I think the more important thing is, like, obviously people know Luke, or people know me, but I don't care if people know me, or I don't think you fully care if people know you. It's like Jesus is the name above all names, and that's the one that we have to push.
Yep.
And so it's such a blessing, bro, because even this, like, obviously I'm not offering you anything.
Right.
And it's like you're here on your time, all that stuff to push the name of Jesus. And so for me, that, like, shows your character. And so I really appreciate you being here for that. So, yeah. Bro, just for, like, the fun of it, bro. Tell me some, like, cool, funny stories from LSU or from Florida, bro, it don't have to, like, do some crazy service, but, like, a funny little, like, you would never hear about that outside of it unless you were there.
Oh, I never hear about that. Man, that's a tough one. There's a lot of no comments on some things.
I definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but at LSU we actually, like, so their athletic dining hall, their chef there also runs a couple restaurants.
Okay.
He's a phenomenal chef. And I told him one day, I went up to him, I said, "Hey, I appreciate you because you're a nerd about food." And I said, "I wouldn't want anybody who's not a nerd about food to be cooking my food." And he's like, "You know what? I respect that. And I bet you're a nerd about athletics." And I was like, "Yeah." And, like, it's funny because we just had this shock of, like, you know what? Everyone's similar in what they do because they're just a nerd about what they love. But, the stuff, like the food, I've had, we'd have, like, marinated squid.
Ooh, what?
Yeah. So every time we played Florida at LSU, they would cook some form of gator in the dining hall if they won. So we'd have fried gator, gator jambalaya, blackened gator. And there were a couple times I talked to Chef, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to let someone cook in my kitchen until they eat just a raw steak because they need to know what the actual flavor of beef is before they start cooking it." And so it's like...
It's crazy.
Yeah, I learned a lot of cool stuff from him.
Dude, I think that's such a neat little bit. You're a nerd about food, bro.
Yeah.
You're a nerd about athletes.
You're right.
Like, I didn't even think about that. That's crazy because like, you have to be a nerd about the stuff. Like, you want to know the stuff that you...
Right, and part of it is being like, all right, so if I'm going to be, spreading a witness to the Lord, like, let me be a nerd about my faith.
Word.
Like, let me pray before all my meals. People see that I'm a nerd about my faith. Like,
be a nerd for Jesus. Bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Dude. So I have to ask you, just since you, like, said it, bro. I don't know if you could choose sides, but I think you're probably a Gator guy through and through.
Yeah.
But, like, when you were at LSU eating the Gator, it was like...
Oh, it was great.
It was great?
It was a great time. It's funny. So I had my long-term best friend, he played football at UF, and my 4 years at LSU beat Florida every single year. And then I transferred to Florida, and Florida beat LSU. And so
Really?
I told him I was the good luck charm. But, I mean, there's the amount of stories I can tell at both schools, for that matter. And it's funny because, I still carry on stories that my dad would tell. And he and one of his friends, when they were at UF and they were on the track team, they would go and they would take their teammates' mopeds and they would hide them in places around campus because they were big guys. So you just pick them up and hide their mopeds and just sit out and just watch them look for their mopeds and stuff like that. But
you just walk down the street, just see them just curling.
Yeah, exactly. But I've had great, unforgettable experiences and friends at both places.
That's awesome, bro. So, I guess with that, bro, obviously you've been blessed beyond measure.
Yeah.
You've probably been put in a lot of great rooms.
Mm-hmm.
What is a time when you're sitting there, you're looking at your life, and you're like, wow, bro, this is literally only God right now. Like, only God could pull this off. Only God can make this happen.
I mean, it'd be sound crazy, but like honestly, just athletics as a whole. Like, I mean, as a kid, I had like horrible eczema and allergies, and one of my uncles last year, he's like, "Yeah, we thought you were going to be the least athletic, like feeble kid out of our whole family," and I was the only one who ended up playing sports at an elite level at that. But you know, I was covered in like rashes as a kid, and like I had to stay inside because if I went outside, like my whole body would basically break out.
Really?
And so it was most of my childhood. I was like indoor only, and then by the time we went through middle school, I was still like a very average to smaller sized kid, and then all of a sudden I spurted up. But then beyond that, like just trials I faced in life. My sophomore year of college is when I had like a really bad chainsaw accident, and I cut my leg with the chainsaw, and like we didn't know if I'd ever be able to walk again, if I'd ever be able to like lift weights or you know, obviously compete track for that matter.
Right.
And then, you know, a year later, I get my first All-American title, and it's on basically what is like 1.5 legs, you know, and tons of rehabbing through it. But like, it was God's will for me to continue track and field, and for me to be competing alone is my testimony. Not necessarily what I accomplished, but to even compete after what I went through is.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's neat, bro, because, I mean, there was probably no light for you in that moment with
Yeah.
you. I mean, obviously, I don't know the full extent of how it all went down and everything, but I guess you're probably pretty scared and worried. I mean, because when that goes through your life, obviously you think about your leg as a whole and like your livelihood, but also, if I had to guess, you know, you probably found yourself in sports, and it's like,
What am I
my
going to do?
sports are gone, you know,
Yeah.
like, because I mean, I think there's that reality, like you find your identity in Jesus, but also if you're an athlete, you probably find some of yourself in sports. I mean, not that it's necessarily a bad thing, because you should be passionate about your sport. You should love what you do.
Yep.
You should compete. But I can only imagine the fear in that, bro. And so I think what's neat is God took that, that scary moment, and He didn't like just let you sit there, bro. Like, you came back and won the All-American title.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I think it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you know, a top tier, you know, and I think that's neat that God used that crazy situation for you to be better.
Yeah.
And also to, you know, be in a spot where you can talk about Him in a way that's like, hey, man, you know, my God works in crazy ways. I about lost my leg and didn't know if I was going to walk or work out again, and all of a sudden I'm here winning titles.
Yeah. And,
So,
you know, and it's interesting. So I meet with the sports psychs, and one of the sports psychs I had at LSU, we were talking about identity, because I was struggling for a period of time of like what my identity was, and he was like, all right, Luke, tell me what your identity is. And I was like, oh, Luke, and my name's Luke, and I'm a track and field athlete. And he was like, so are you identifying yourself as the sport of track and field? Because you aren't. Like, you're never going to be that. And he's like, you're Luke Witte, who does track and field because you have fun doing it. But what makes religion different from that is my identity is supposed to be in Christ. Whereas all these other things, it's Luke who works on cars because it's fun. It's Luke who lifts weights because it's fun. But then when it comes to faith, it's Luke who is the Christian. And like that's how a lot of people, I feel like, there's like a misconception of faith. It's Zach who talks about Jesus instead of Zach the Christian who's trying to be like Jesus, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty. Yeah. Yeah. So, one thing too, bro. I know we kind of just talked in it, but how has God moved in your life the past few years, and obviously through your accident, but even more recently, like, say maybe the last 3 years, or 2 years. I don't know when your accident was, but. Like, how have you seen God show up for you? Like, or even people you know are like, hey, man, there was this crazy story that I've seen, or just even, however that works out.
Yeah. I think there's no question I came to Florida for a reason. My last semester at LSU was really tough. One of my best friends, Jackson, can tell you how much I was struggling. My car ended up having like a huge issue in December, and my car didn't get fixed until the following September. So I rode the bus to school every day, or I had one of my friends from a Christian group. She would drive me to school, or my friend Jackson would drive me to school. And during these times, like, I found myself in a lot more community because of the struggle I was in. And it wasn't out of me being like, oh, I'm depressed, I need them, but they showed up when I needed them most. Like, if I didn't have Grace or Jackson, my last semester of college would have been horrendous. It would have been horrendous. But in that same time, like, they gave me a positive outlook. And then it came time where, I was riding the bus, and I rode the same bus so many times where the bus driver and I became buddies. And I actually exchanged phone numbers with him.
Really?
And it's funny because throughout that time, I realized, like, hey, I really need a truck for the stuff I want to do in the future. And so, I'm messaging people on Facebook, find a guy with a truck, meet him, get a good deal on the truck. And immediately, as soon as I got that truck, I got in contact with, a great guy named Terrence, and he gave me all these projects he had done. He's like, do you think you can do all these things? It was like drywall, random plumbing, electrical stuff. And I was like, so if I can, I'll watch a YouTube video. He's like, perfect. He goes, God's with you. Boom. Start doing all these projects. Start paying off my truck like instantly as soon as I got it. But then I started treating my friends back again. And I had one of my roommates at the time. He said, why do you seem like you're in such a good mood? I said, well, for a period of time, I felt like I was at rock bottom. And rock bottom's not that bad. Right. It's not that bad because I had people with me. And I feel like God turned me into a more social person. I used to be a bit more introverted. And so through that, I come to UF, and I immediately developed like a friendship. Like I felt like I was in a community as soon as I stepped on campus. But like, my teammates know I love them. They love me. And I was I'm kind of still am in like a leadership role for the team, but like, God just put me in the places I needed to be. Like, I'm with the coaches who I know, like, have my back, and I have their back. Like, it feels like family. My small group and the way I've been able to serve those around me is, I've been put in places to serve. I've been put in places where I have a phenomenal community, and so it's just been great.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things you said stuck out to me. This is something that me and Hayden would talk about a lot. Is community and how important community is. And I think what was neat, and you said it, was rock bottom wasn't that bad. Like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I do think there's a reality that some people think it's terrible, and rock bottom is the worst place. But I think a lot of times is they don't have community around.
Yeah.
I think that's something, because the thing is, bro, you're not built to live this life alone. You're going to have people that hold you up when you're falling. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to hold people up while they're down. And so I would ask you this, bro. I know for me, community means everything. I've been blessed with great community. And so for you, obviously you just went through it. But just like one more time, like, what is community? Like, how important is community for somebody that follows Jesus? And also, even if you don't follow Jesus, like, how important is community just to live a life?
Yeah, I mean,
it's
community matters more than physical things. A lot of people think they need a certain car, need a certain phone, or things like that. But in reality, it's like, I lost my car, which is my first car. I still have it, love it. But like, my friends mattered more to me.
Yeah.
And, people ask me, oh, where do you want to go to work now that I'm done being an athlete? And I'm like, all right, well, it'd be Texas, Louisiana, South Carolina, or Florida. Why? Because my best friends are in these places. And like, I don't want to go to a place where I don't have community. Yeah. And now I'm at a point where sometimes I see people who I don't think have community. So it's I make a point to try and go and talk to them. And It was super cool because last night at Unite, Peep the Hat, it's where I met
Peep.
Zach.
The hat, yeah, that's the same.
Yeah. I started talking to a kid named Deuce, and at the end of the night, he said, "Hey, thanks for sitting next to me because I didn't have anyone to talk to tonight."
Yeah.
And and sometimes that's all you need is just to put a smile on someone's face, and like that community matters so much in the growth of your faith because you're able to pick each other up when you're down.
I think it's so overlooked, bro, because it's like sometimes I remember this, hey, why don't you go to church? And they're like, well, I don't have to go to church because, I don't have to go to church. Like, I don't have to go to church to follow Jesus. And it's like, okay, maybe not. But how's your faith? How are you actually doing this? Like, I don't think God intended us to be alone. And I don't think you can honestly be a Christian and be by yourself. I just don't think you can do it. I think there's so much joy. There's so much to gain from having community.
Well, like you talk about the beginning of time, like God made Adam, and he said he needs Eve. He needs not only does he need a partner, but this is part of community. Obviously there was the fall in the Garden of Eden, but there was still community, and God created us to be reliant. There's a reliance on community.
Yeah, like we have to rely on each other, bro. Cause
God says we're stronger in numbers, and it's true. Like it's so much easier to pray for a group of people with someone else than by yourself. Yeah. And it's not about just the ease, but I think it's more powerful as well.
Yeah, I believe so too, bro. And this is kind of the shoot off the hip question here. Is there something specifically that God has laid on your heart? So just if there's somebody watching that you have no idea who it is, they have no idea who you are, and they just happen to come across this, what would you tell them? Is there just a random
There's people out there that love and care for you. I think we're in a time where anxiety and depression is more rampant than ever before.
Yeah.
Part of that is, due to phones and social media. But the reason I believe it's due to these things is because we trap ourselves in them instead of being in the community we have around us.
Yeah.
And so one thing I did during my time at LSU is I was in in-person classes at the time, and every in-person class I would choose one person to sit next to, and my goal was to be their friend by the end of the semester.
Yeah.
And but even if we didn't get along great, there was still community to be had. Like, hey, hey Josh, hey Logan, what's how's life? And they're there to check on you too. But if you're alone, find a community.
Right.
And even if it's one person you don't think you're going to get along with them, you probably will, because that's the way God works.
Yeah, and I think what's crazy is everybody has this desire for community.
Right.
I mean, even if it's bro, I'm so introverted, I don't ever want to do nothing or talk to people, it's there's some part of you that probably does.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're on the game, it's well, I'm introverted, bro, but you have a party of 6 people in the group chat playing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
At least that's how I thought about it. But yeah, bro, I think it's important to remind people that they are loved and valued, because even if they don't feel loved and valued on this earth, bro, there's people that do love them on this earth, but also there's a Father above that loves them so much more than they can even imagine, or we can imagine. And also too, bro, I forgot what I was gonna say. Dog. Wait, what? Yeah, that's crazy. It just slipped the brain.
I mean, you're talking about how God loves you.
Yeah.
There's people on this earth that love you.
Yeah, it was off of something you said, bro. I just forgot.
No, it's all good, brother.
It's embarrassing. No, I'm just kidding.
It happens. But,
that's what it was. You said anxiety, depression, is wrong.
Yeah.
And it definitely is. I was, for the podcast series I just did on distractions.
Yeah.
I did one on anxiety and depression and overthinking, and how if we sit and overthinking, it allows us to dwell on that, and we make our identity anxiety and depression instead of a child of God. And I do believe it is true that Instagram, social medias taint us.
Right.
Because we fall into comparison traps. We fall into finding our identity in likes and shares, and that's actually what social media tells us our identity should be, is in likes and shares. And it's I think what's so neat is Jesus tells us our identity is found in Him.
Yep.
And so a person that doesn't believe, I don't know how to tell you, don't find your identity in those things other than what I just said, but I would encourage you to try to find your identity in Jesus.
Yeah.
And learn who Jesus is. And for the believer too, I would also encourage you to find your identity in Jesus and not in a sport, because I do think it's
Yeah.
probably easy to do that.
Yeah.
Or like even for me, like this podcast is not something I need to find my identity
Right.
in. And if I do, like I have to constantly check myself
Mm-hmm.
because I'm quick to look at the likes, bro. I'm quick to
Yeah.
look at the shares and the comments.
Yeah, you want. Yeah, it's natural,
Like
and,
that's just, but
it's sad because before phones were a thing, it's like, families in the past just farming or just existing,
just farming, bro.
farming or existing. Like, your likes and shares were the 16 kids you populated your own farm with
That's it.
and there weren't these stresses that we have today of like how we look or how we appear, because it
Yeah.
frankly could matter less.
Yeah.
And it matters more now in our social world, but again, I believe that's how the devil distracts us from what's really going on in life.
Yeah.
And I think we're very quick to have an emotional reaction instead of a, just like to the couple people that may know me, I just say chill, like just chill out. But something bad may happen, and your first reaction is like a deep emotional response of you might want to blow up. Like, I mean, you talked earlier, sometimes when you're serving customers and stuff like that, like someone's rude to you, the first thing you have to do is bite your tongue. You're controlling the emotional and then having a controlled response. And like, that's something regardless of you're Christian or not, like when you're, if you're struggling just in your day-to-day being, like taking back the emotional, like that initial gut reaction and just processing a little bit, and things get a lot easier in your life.
Yeah. I think that's important, bro, because there are times where it's like somebody would talk slick to you and it's like, but then you see yourself 6 months ago, I'd have said something different.
Right.
And so I think you can see the progression of Jesus in your life when you start to look at it. I think what's neat, bro, one of the things I hear a lot is, well, God's not there for me. God doesn't answer my prayers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and there's moments maybe you don't see answer those prayers.
Right.
But if you start writing your prayers down, that's something I'd encourage you to do, is write your prayers down and look back 6 months and see where you were 6 months ago compared to where you're at now.
Yeah.
And you can see how much God actually listens to you and cares for you. And I think so often if we do that more, if we take the time to slow down and just chill, we can be more present.
Yeah.
Because the problem is social media allows us to not be present.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's cool too is I was doing research because I was going to do a podcast on social media. But social media is described as, or we're described as one of the most socially connected generations. Right?
Just
But-
not the case.
But we're the loneliest generation.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy. Because socially we're connected. We have followers on Instagram. We have people that like our stuff. All this and that. But that's on a screen. That's on a phone. But me personally, me right here in this chair, I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's how it is for some people, and that's sad, bro. That's the reality that we live in now.
And I'd ask, like, so you work, I mean, obviously in your jobs you work, like, how often is someone on their phone the entire time they're ordering from you? Like, you want to say connected. Yeah, you're connected to a device while you're forcefully interacting with someone else. And like the amount of times, and I've done it too before, like I'm walking through, the dining hall to get food and I have my phone open just to like, for me almost it's like a blend. I see other people. All right, I'll do it too.
Just to look like you're,
to look like I'm busy.
Yeah.
Like, what is that doing for me? Absolutely nothing.
I've done that before, but I'd walk in, I think,
But
yeah. I remember like vividly, I was walking into a mall one day, bro, and I just like got on my phone, like swiped up, went to messages, no notifications, went to Instagram, nothing, Snapchat, nothing, and then just like put it back up. Like, bro, what did I just do?
yeah, like, and I know we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
Like I know there's tons of people. I've seen people pretend to be on their phone, like on the phone while they're ordering just to
Seem important.
Yeah, just for the perception. And like that's all social media is like it's all about perception. How do people perceive me? And I see it spilling over into human to human interactions too. Like we've never had more focus on like cars we drive, clothes we wear. Like people focus so much on how we're perceived. Am I perceived as being like,
Yeah.
you know, a rich, cool guy, or like, am I being perceived as having the coolest streetwear? Like, you know, quite frankly, who
doesn't?
cares? Like,
Yeah.
I don't, but I know there's people out who do. But that's just where your identity is.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
And if you're out there struggling, like, if your identity's in Christ, these things don't matter. If you're struggling financially, you know, who cares what you're wearing as clothes? Like, if you're there worshiping the Lord, those other people around you who are also worshiping the Lord love you. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what you're wearing, what you're driving. If you're there worshiping or, like, in Christ, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's true. I think again, it's just the social stuff that we get caught up in.
You're right.
But I want to reiterate. Wow, that's not even.
Yeah, you good.
I want to say that I don't believe all social media is bad. I
Right.
think social media is great in the form that, not that it was probably intended, like it's probably doing exactly what it was intended to do, distract people.
Right.
But I think if it's something you use to like scrapbook your memories, right? Like social media
Yeah.
for you, you post, you know, car stuff, you post track stuff. Like people can
Yeah.
keep up with you, and kind of know what's going on. But then it's like, okay, people keep up with me, they know what's going on. Where's the limit? Where do
Yeah.
I kind of I'm gonna post, I'm gonna keep up with some people, and that's it.
How do I get some more people to DM me after I post something? How do I get more people to
But then-
interact?
But then that's where we get the problem is like
Right.
we're searching for that instead of just letting it be like, hey, you know, this is what I'm up to, da da da, and that's it.
Yeah, it's funny because I use my Facebook how like I would want to use my Instagram, which is like my Facebook. I post like like one update a month. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what I've done this past, and I have a couple family members who they text me, hey, I love staying updated on what you're doing, and like that's how I think it should be used. Like that's obviously not how it was created. It was created to desire money and eventually be a transactional deal, but
Right.
like. How it should be used is just like updates. Like, how do I know, what you're up to? If my coach, my coach had a kid, he has a picture of his kid, cool. Like, if I wasn't up to date with him, I know he has a kid now. Like, congrats.
Yeah, like I think that's the point, like the social media that we should be trying to
Right.
go for, and I think that's cool, that's good.
Yeah.
But sadly, it's not that, and that's okay. Like it's just part of this world. And,
Yeah, it's part of the fallen world, yeah.
There's nothing really I can do about it, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's just sad to see so many people get lost in that because ultimately I was lost in that at one point.
Yep.
Like I was always lost in how many likes I get, or okay, well I just posted a video and it's got 200 views in 5 minutes, bro. Like we're locked, and it's like it can't be like that, or you begin to form your identity in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of my last questions for you, bro. Obviously, we talked the last couple months. One thing I'd like to ask you is if you can go back 10 years
Mm-hmm.
and you could look at young Luke,
Yeah.
little Luke, or even a 15-year-old that you don't know who he is and he's desiring to do the weight throw.
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
Or the hammer throw, or whatever it looks like, or somebody trying to get in athletics. What would you tell them? And this could be spiritual. This could be, hey man, just keep going, like all of it.
I mean, during that time, I was struggling a lot. I didn't want to admit it, but I was struggling a lot. Just that there's a purpose and plan for you,
Yeah.
and you'll always be contributing to those around you. I would tell myself just like hold on and keep going because it's gonna be okay.
Or just chill.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, just chill. It's gonna be okay. Like during that time of my life when I was younger, like especially that was right after my dad had passed, and I was I wasn't mad at the world, but I was a bit confused. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, why am I having to deal with all this when I see my friends having great healthy parents that are they're doing fun things with their parents, and it's like, well, I guess I'm never going to be able to enjoy that. But I think there's a switch when it comes from God stop taking things away from me to God, thank you for giving me opportunities to do the things that I can do. Like,
Right.
For me to come out as the man I am today, having a father for as long as I had is not only a testimony to my mom for raising me the best she could, given the circumstances, but also, you know, my own willingness to take advantage of the opportunities and the things I seen to develop myself.
Word.
You know, and to tell yourself like it's okay to be different than your parents. It's okay to, you know, if your parents aren't believers and you are, like, it's okay to be different from your parents. It's okay to stand out from those around you, because there are periods of time where I would be praying and people would just kind of stare at me while I was praying at lunch, while I was at high school. But it's okay to be different, and if you're that different, you should feel good about it.
Yeah. I think if there was one thing you would want or you should want to be different about, is that you follow Jesus.
Correct. Yeah.
I think that's probably the single-handed most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, bro, that's awesome. Do you have any shout-outs or anything you want to give?
I mean, shout outs to my community.
Community sounds like the MVP player right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, my brother Oscar,
Word.
you know, my mom, my best friend Mark.
I got Mark.
Yeah, you know, Mark. You know, Jackson, Andreas, Logan, you know, the rest of my families at LSU and UF that have always taken care of me, you know, my coaches. But without you guys, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. It took lots of support from lots of different people for me to turn into the person I am today.
Yeah.
And I think what was a cool, like, take back is, you know, after I took my last throw at conference and afterwards I shook all the officials' hands, even though it wasn't like my best performance or what I wanted for myself. But then coaches from other schools started coming up to me and like, you are a pleasure to compete against. Like, two coaches said, hey, this is why I recruited you to my school, is because I knew the class act you were. And like, just to know that, you know, people see your character, whether you think they do or not. You know, if I didn't fail, maybe they wouldn't have told me that, but it still came from their heart.
Yeah.
And like, people are watching.
Yeah.
People are always watching, whether you think they are or not.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. Well, I appreciate you for coming on the podcast, bro. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is Luke Witte. He super cool guy. Loves Jesus, and it's been such a pleasure to kind of hang out with you the last couple months and learn who you are, bro. I think it's pretty neat because Unite itself has been a blessing for me and community. I'm proud too of you and another guy that we kind of talked to a lot recently. Mm-hmm. So I think my encouragement for you is community is big. I didn't know this was going to be a community podcast.
That's good, though.
Hey, but praise God.
It's important.
But community's big, and if you don't have community, I'd encourage you to find it, because it's not just me and Hayden saying community is big. It's Luke came in here, and all I told him was, hey, man, I have a couple questions for you, and this is kind of what we got to. And so I'm glad that community came up, because I think it is probably one of the most important things for a follower.
Yeah.
And so I'd encourage, if you don't have community, look for it. And if you need help finding it,
reach out to us. Like, if you DM me, I will always respond. There's very rarely a DM I don't respond to. But like, if you just need someone to talk to, like, Zach and I are here for you. There've been times I've had, you know, middle school, high school guys, throwers who are, you know, originally asked me throwing questions, then throw a life question at me, and they're shocked that I give them a response. But that's what I know Jesus would do. Jesus would want to care for everybody who came and asked for him. And so, you know, if you're struggling out there, don't hesitate.
Because again, ultimately, like, God's calling on my life is higher than a guy that does a podcast, and God calling on your life is higher to be a thrower or an athlete. Mm-hmm. It's to be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Yep.
And so actively, that's what we have the ability to do. So if you ever have that, and if you're a Christian, that is your ability to. If that's, you know, you're a waiter, you're this or you're that, your ultimate calling is to be the hands and feet of Jesus, which is awesome. So be the hands and feet of Jesus this week.
Yep.
If you need help, always reach out. I appreciate you guys for staying tuned. I hope you guys enjoy this. And I'll see you in the next one. Luke, thank you very much for being a part of it.
Who knows? I might be back.
Part 2 for Luke?
Yeah.
We'll see. Hey. Anyways, that's it for this one. We'll see you on the next one.